When Myanmar experienced its transition period, moving towards democracy in the late 2010s after decades of harsh military dictatorship, many Burmese craftspeople hoped their beautiful work could finally be appreciated beyond the country's borders, and that they could stake out a livelihood for themselves and their families. But this was not to be. Following the military coup, many skilled artisans suddenly found all possibility of continuing their work closed off and began struggling just to feed their families. At Better Burma, we have created an avenue to help, opening an online shop that offers genuine, handcrafted products made in Myanmar at reasonable prices. To see these unique designs and the lovely craftsmanship, visit alokacrafts.com. That's Aloka, A-L-O-K-A, crafts, C-R-A-F-T-S, one word.com.
My name is Don Tajaroensuk. I know how to define myself, but I work on as NGO organizations. Basically, we work on human rights, democracy, and peace. And then we focus in Thailand, but our network, we work on Southeast Asia country. So we want to have the network to do with so many organizations. Our goal is like to promote democracy for all human beings, and human rights.
Thank you. So that's the description of what you're doing now and where you are now. You have quite an interesting background that brought you to that place. So let's explore that background, because as we were talking before the interview began, you come very much from a human rights and democracy family. That was your upbringing. So tell us about your family history and how you came into these values.
It's a really long story, that I try to keep it short as much as we can. Basically, what I remember when I was very young, I think less than around 4 years old. It's very young. And that time that I realized that, they have so many friends coming to our house, staying together. Some come for 2 weeks, some 3 months, some 6 months, and some with 2 years. At that time, I realized that they are my mother friends. She say that oh, my friend coming, stay for a bit in our house. The problem is after our friend came to our house, my mom left, she left to work somewhere, and then they will stay together with me and my brothers and my friends. I never realized that they are refugees or anything, that's fine. But what I remember is every evening, all of them came together playing with my friends, really young children, play football, any hide and seek, any kind of activities they join with me. I feel really familiar with them, and then we feel really have strong relations. I really remember they have one friend from Timor-Leste. His name is Manuel. I was crying and I thinking about him. We stayed 2 years together. He's playing football with me every day, and then he is one teaching me a lot about football. And then I cannot realize that we have the close relationship until the day he left. What I remember, we were at the airport. I was crying when he left, And after that, we don't have strong, the social network, right? We never contact each other anymore. But anytime when I visit Timor-Leste, I will ask about his all the time. Manuel was I don't know where he is now, but I really remember his big brother for me,
And so these friends that would come and stay with you, that your mother would take in, they were from different countries or from?
Oh, so many countries. Manuel is from Timor-Leste. During that time, they have revolution period, right? The fighting in here. But actually, they have so many people came from many countries, right? Cambodia, Myanmar, Vietnam, Indonesia, Philippines. I cannot remember, but this kind of Southeast Asia country. And then I just realized that when I was like 20, I realized that all of them are refugees. Wow. They just stopped at our house for waiting for resettlement to third country. Yeah. Then I start realize that this is when they stay in my house, this is the process. They're just keeping waiting to go in third country. Some we connected, some we found each other on social media, but some cannot. Yeah.
So you would speak English with them when they were there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Even they're not really good. I remember I have so many grammatical speaking words with them,
Yeah.
But sometimes they help me. You should not say that. You should say like this. Like I cannot remember. I say Mother Gan something. We will have dinner at Mother Gan house, And they say no. You have to say that. We will have dinner at grandmother house, something like that. They taught me a lot about English during that time. Yeah.
Right. So it's interesting because you were a child during this time, and your mother was involved in these refugee issues. So she was bringing them in to help care for them as they were going on their way. But through a child's mentality, you didn't probably understand the concept of what a refugee was, what it meant to not have a home. So do you remember when that consciousness started to come to you of like, oh, these people that are my friends that are just staying with me, their backgrounds are actually very different than the background I know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
When did that I realized that, right? I think when I turned to 20, I can say that even since I was 4 and 5 years old, until 20, some refugees still coming from the same country. And when I grew up, we have more knowledge about refugees, about politics. That's why I realized that the new group here also refugees, and maybe the previous group they also same refugee also. So you see, they have the long story of them,
Yeah.
And 15 years already, but the refugees still come to Thailand from many countries. The same process, same route still happen. That's why I realized that the old friend, in 15 years, there's the same refugee group that already happened in 15 years after. Until now, I think you can see that many refugee Myanmar asylum seeker along the borders. Yeah.
Right. So I think this brings a discussion into who your mother is. Before we get into your story and what you're doing with migration and human rights and democracy, grassroots activism, I think we first need to look at who your mother is and what she was doing professionally, so that personally she was bringing all these refugees into your home. She obviously was doing something professionally above and beyond this. So tell us your mother's story.
Okay. I will tell you when I was young, what are my perspective.
Sure.
When I was young, I really did not know what she doing, what she have done. What I know that my mom always left the house. Sometimes she left like 3 months. We just stay together, our friend. Sometimes she left 6 months. She come back a few weeks and then she went again. Yeah, I really don't know what she did that time. In the school, the teachers, right, always asking what your mother doing, your father. For other students, they have very simple answer, like nurse, police. That I cannot give an answer like what is my work of my mother. I never realized until 20 again. Then I realized that she's like worked for human rights for a long time since I was really young. The day she did not come home, she going somewhere in some country, to work for human rights and the democracy. And actually, she did not tell me the story much. I knew that from her friends when I grew up. I made the friends, and then many friends told me that, oh, what your mom did since like during the revolution time in Indonesia, in Timor-Leste, in so many places. I have heard the story from her friends actually, not from herself. And then what I remember that our friend from Timor told me that actually my mom, she had worked a lot for the revolution time, for about human rights issue that time. She was stayed together with the local people, with the movement, those kind of things. Also Indonesia, the same thing. What I feel that, many friends in Timor, in Indonesia, so many countries, they respect her a lot. Some friends call her mother also. Some people say that she's mother of independence, something. Yeah, because she worked for independent issue in Timor and also Indonesia. Even Indonesia in Aceh is not successful for independent, but they get some like authorities at the end of the movement. Yeah.
That's so interesting. So this is just a mother to you. Our parents are always our parents, whether they're a famous athlete or politician or whatever else. They're always just our parents. So this is just a mother to you. And as you grow, you realize this is actually a mother for many other people, not just in your country, but in the whole region, and how she's supporting democracy and human rights.
Right. Yes.
Right. And so when you turned 20, you say, and you had this growing consciousness of who your mother really was, who these people were that were coming into your house. And as you started to reconstruct her story and understand what her professional life was, what is that? What can you tell us about who your mother was professionally?
So she worked on human rights organizations. What I heard that when she turned 30 something, this is a regional organization, working on human rights. And then I think like that time they have so many human rights violations a lot. And then she's worked in the Southeast Asia country to promote human rights, protect human rights. And then I realized that it takes a long time for her to work in this organization until 2008. So she decided to establish a new organization for Thailand first, because she thinks that 2008, that time, 2006, I'm not sure, they have some coup, and she realized that like she should more focus for Thai issue, because she thinks like the real change, should come from people. And she like just worked for so many issues, right? I mentioned like for many countries, but she just maybe overlooked on Thai issue. That's why she thinks she should come back for Thai issue now. Then I just realized around that she is to work on human rights, and then her belief is that she so believe that the real change should come from the people, from the ground. Like the real policy, the good policies should come from the ground. I mean politicians, the high level, the decision body, they should listen the voice of the people. Her goal is like, anyway, we have to elaborate the voice of the people as much as possible to the policy level in Thailand. But when we work with national level, we have involved with our friends from many countries again. Yeah. So democracy is not just only one country perspective. It's about all people connected all together. So now even we focus on Thailand, but we also work with our friends in Southeast Asia.
And what can you tell us about growing up in the house that you were in and the values that you came to learn from your mother and the culture with which you were brought up in?
I think she never taught me exactly, what to do, but I think I learned from experience, from staying next to her, from the friends coming house, from her friends like telling me story. All those things I think I have learned from experience, from connecting with the real people, discussion. What I remember when I was high school, I think they have some issue about migration, migrants, come to Thailand, something. I cannot remember exactly what is that, but what I remember, my friend have very negative perspective toward the migrants, But I did not think the same way, because I feel that because of my experience, I had experience with them before, so I feel that they are friends and they have some issue that they need support from Thai people. They really want to disturb the country or make any problem, but they just came here because some emergency situation, some story. That's why they need support. So that's why I think that during high school I had so many different ideas with my majority friend in the class, But I think it came from my experience, those kind of things. And then I started thinking like, I don't know how to say that, but I feel that I think all human beings are same. I mean, we should respect all human beings. Like if you think the world peace, at least people should connect it. We should not hate each other. At least we should, how to call it, embrace each other.
That's a nice idea. It's a nice idea. It's a nice way to live your life by. And so you gave a little bit of background of your mother's profession and the work that she was doing. She then went on to, as I understand it, to form People's Empowerment.
Yes.
So can you tell us about this organization?
Yeah, it started, I mentioned earlier, right? Started in 2008 after the coup. And then what we focus is like, we really think the real change it should come from people, right? From the local peoples. And then we have seen that, actually the local people, like especially a generalized group, they also lack of the how to call that, political participations in the policy level. And we really believe that, if their voice should be heard in the policy bodies. Yeah, that's why we try to work with the all group along the country to how to call that, like collaborations. And then we plan this, it's like their voice should be somewhere in the policy body. Even politicians do not listening their voice right now, we keep doing it again. Because we think like democracy change should come from the real people. It should not come from the only politicians, only businessmen, only like who can convince the country. But it should come from the people. Yeah, basically this idea. We call that bottom-up approach, bottom-up, like strengthening them. To strengthening them, yeah.
And what progress has she been able to make with that organization, and what have been the challenges in Thailand that she's faced?
Wow, it's tough question. It's tough question. What we have achieved? I think what I feel that actually even yesterday we have some work together with some migrant worker group, and what I realized that now they also have the previous generation, like her generation, they have the network, they all work together. Until yesterday, we have seen so many young people involved, What I feel now, we are doing the transition period, like from the previous generation until the young people generation. I think what we have achieved that actually the idea of human rights, democracy, and then human being, whatever, like is transferred to the new generation already. And even we have the good, like, how do I say, it's like peer-to-peer learning between generations, At least the previous generation, they can say about the story, the experience. And young people can learn from that, And they can find a way to make it better in their generations. The last meeting is really interesting. The young people have so many ideas, Many things. We don't know what will happen in the future. But at least I think we can transfer, we can make the new generation. And I don't know when we can achieve it or not, but at least they have some improvement when it's transferred to the new generation. I think I have told the new generations, we still have hope. And then people more interested on each other more, like at least the connection really strong for me. And then I think in the future they have some progress.
That's heartening to hear, and that's certainly something that we're seeing with Myanmar when we start to move on to that part of the discussion with what we're seeing with Generation Z in Myanmar. Getting back to your own story, so we left off. You were 20 years old. That was your kind of dawning consciousness of who your mother was and what she was actually doing, and who all these people were that became your friends that were coming into the home. And as we know from the way you introduced yourself in this podcast, you would go on to be very much involved in this work of migration, human rights, democracy. So tell us your own journey, and tell us academically and then professionally why you decided to do what you're doing and what that is.
I think my work career started since the Rohingya migrations. It came, what I remember, 2007, before organization established. I just won the first year student university. I went with my mom at I call IDC, Intention Center, something. This way, like, they how to call that? They just like, they took the Rohingya people there in IDC, That's first day I realized that it might start a career. And then I have met so many like Rohingya people there. Even we cannot talk, but I felt Rohingya issue is so, like what I have seen, they are crying, and then it seems like it's really difficult to achieve, to help them. At that time, we were inside the IDC, and then we met so many Rohingya, and then we met Rohingya group, and then even we try a lot to advocate the issue of Rohingya in Thai society, but it's really difficult. Thai people don't understand, and they don't want to receive any Rohingya. Even they have so many stigmatized words, toward them. It's like, it's unhuman. It's like it seems like they are not human. It's so difficult for me like to keep this kind of situation. That's why I think that we have anything to do in the country. At least we should change the Thai people to understand they are Rohingya. You may dislike them, but they are human beings. At least they should be respected as human beings, And then if you think you cannot do anything to help them, but at least don't say that they are not human, something like that. Yeah, and I think that's why I think we have to do so many things for Thai society to let them understand about this kind of thing. Even it's still hard until now, but I think it's a big objective, there's a big goal that we have to achieve. Yeah. And then after that, I decided to involve in this NGO work, from Rohingya, and then ignite me a lot about the work. And then I realized, because I also learned from one friend, he's my big brother, he's Rohingya also. He told me so many stories about Rohingya, And what I remember, like, what you really want Thai society to understand and to do for you. They say they just want to live like human, really basic, like they just want to work, to have small house or small room to live, no need to be big or luxury things, They just want to have simple life, This is like one thing really is still stuck in my mind. Now this man left to Sweden already. We still keep in touch, Yeah, I think one thing that why they keep me working, move forward about this. Yeah. And you asked me about academia thing, right?
Yeah, so you have this powerful experience at the detention center, seeing Rohingya in Thai society and the challenges that they're facing, and this spurs in you this feeling of compassion, of injustice, of empathy, wanting to do something. So was that the experience, you would say, that launched you into the academic?
Wow, it's another story. Wow, it's another story. Actually, at that time, I didn't have any idea to study master, to keep my academia like, academia ways, pathway, But I met one organization named Myanmar Foundation. We had some joint project on democracy in Thailand. At that time, they have director, came to Thailand, and then we met together. His name is the Kim Yang Re. He was the director of the Myanmar Foundation. That time, Myanmar is from South Korea, Gwangju. No? This city have the historical story of democracies. So it's like, we quite close each other when we met in the first time. And then I cannot remember exactly what we discussed, but I remember at the end, he asked me to go to study in Gwangju, because he planned to establish a new program, about human rights in Gwangju city. At first, I didn't respond anything to him, but he called me again, like third time, fourth time, I can't remember exactly, but I feel he have really sincere and then he have passions on me, something. And you can feel that, he did not say it directly, but I can feel that he have some passion on me, something. That's why I decided to study in Gwangju. It's like, actually this program called GNMP, Global NGO Master Program. And then it's teaching the NGO workers on democracy, human rights, they plan to make the connections between the students around Asia and South Africa to have the connection and work together on human rights, study together in peace, in democracy. And I started to join because of convinced by Kim Yang Re directly.
So you really followed in your mother's footsteps after all.
It could be. You can say that. Yeah, and then when I go to study, we have made so many like activists and also academia. Half is we learn from academia, half we learn from activists around the world. It's very good. And then my thesis is about because we mentioned about the xenophobia, right? People have this like hate on the migrant worker, even migrants to Thailand. But my thesis is also interesting because even Thai people, same nationality themselves, they still have this kind of feeling toward the people from the same country. Because in South Korea, actually, they have so many, I can say highest number of undocumented migrants, And you know what perspective of Thai society toward them is really bad, also really negative. They feel that those kind of people are very selfish, and they make they make the reputation of the country really bad because of the migration, overstay, something like that. But actually, when I starting to do my thesis, it's like they have so many things behind that, you know. These kind of people, actually, they are lack of the, protections from the country. They are really poor, and then they're facing so many problems, society problems like debt, like poverty, this kind of thing. And Thai government cannot solve this problem, cannot help them to have the good living standard, you know. That's why they have to seeking asylum migrants to work in another country. And the most interesting thing is like, you see, even people from the same country, they still
really
have really bad negatively
country.
with the same country, you know. They don't even have empathy. They don't have even any concept to understand why our friend in the same country are doing like this, you know. But anything, if you go through social media, they say have the bad word toward them. Then I start on it, and then I feel that they have some mission to do again. You see, to make people understand. And then I know how to say that again. Like, you know, it's made me feel that how we can define the Thainess again. You can see that like Thai people, when they, I don't know how to say that, you know, even people from conservative side, when they look, at least they should have some idea to protect people from the same nationality, right? But you see the conservative in Thailand still have really bad attitude to the people in the poor with the same country. That's why it's rightly question to me like, what is it mean Thai? If you think like we are all Thai, we should think this is the problem of our country and we should solve it together. But for conservative side, it's like they think that is not the issue. It is like from the, that is the issue. It's not our country issue. I don't know how to explain. It's really complicated.
So was that some of the work that you're doing now as you came back to Korea, trying to work on not just, we'll get to migration later because I know that's another big issue, but leaving migration aside, just looking at the income gap in Thailand, the different attitudes of different religious or ethnic backgrounds, city or rural, and trying to find out where those gaps are and how to bring people together. Is that some of what you've been doing?
I try. I try. The same thing, like I think if we need the world peace, you know, it's like people have connected. At least they should understand.
And how do you do that? How do you help to facilitate that understanding?
So if you go, what I think now, until now, I think I should like some articles about this thing. That's what I can do. And I realize that I just one person, maybe I cannot achieve the big problem that is. I can be partially like just doing this to solve this problem. Because I think until the end, you know, to solve this current problem, we need collective actions, not just only come from me, but I try to do what I can do, on my base. Yeah,
what kind of collective actions do you think are necessary to see the kind of change you'd like to see in Thailand and Thai society?
Wow, it's a tough question. I don't really know actually. I think it's once all people have more understanding, once people think like this is the issue for anyone, I think when we can solve, when we think the issue of human being is matter for all human beings, I think we can. These are collective actions, but you know the problem is we cannot expect that all people should have the same thought. I think what we can do now just try to let them understand as much as we can do. I still have poor with young generations, like I mentioned earlier. I think once they more understand, they will help us to disseminate, right? Distribute the ideas. Yeah, still, again, I don't know when it's going to be end, but it's one thing we cannot stop. Yeah.
So let's look now at the issue of migration, something that is a very important issue in Thailand and something that also happens to be not just your background, but the home you grew up in and your mother's background and profession as well. So give us an overview first of, for listeners that might not be familiar, how would you give the context of migration in Thailand and some of the issues? A big question, I know.
Migration in Thailand. Migration in
You know, when I
Thailand.
ask a question,
You know, when I
have
ask a question, I
the
have
picture, you know,
the picture, you know,
Yeah.
in my
People
mind,
coming
and I
out.
have
Yeah.
people coming out.
Yeah.
Really tough. It's like so many countries come to Thailand. Some going out and come back, you know. I think Thailand is one country they have the highest like influx, even migration in and out, you know. Many foreigners will come to Thailand. Many people who seeking safe place like us, asylum seekers, refugees come to Thailand. And even Thai people also going to
Yeah.
work outside
Yeah.
in another country.
Yeah.
If you, I don't know how to define that actually, but actually Thailand is one country involved with so many route of migration, even academia, refugees, migrant workers, like the, how to call that, foreigners when come to work, you know. And what I think is like they have so many things to understand. And what I really, you know that they have like at least the number of the Myanmar, the migrant worker in Thailand is about, I think 2 or 3 million and
Yeah.
documented.
Yeah.
With undocumented, we don't know the number.
Yeah.
And it's so funny, like Thai people also don't do this kind of work, but they going to work in South Korea, you know, for this kind of for this kind of same work, but different ways. So Thai is like country they have influx and then out. Similar, they have so many criticizing thing what happened in Bangkok, you know, and in Thailand, and then in this morning. I met with some hostel, you know. There so I have so many foreigners, right, who work online, living in Thailand with the cheap like living cost, but they gain the how to call it? They gain the salary from the Western something that from their own country, their original country. So it means, you know, if I say that really fast, it means people try to take advantage on the capitalism, I mean transnational capitalism. You see migrant workers going, Thai migrant workers Korean, they work for high wage. And then the foreigner come to work here because lower living costs. Migrant workers from Myanmar came here because of the safety situation in Myanmar. So actually people have tried to seeking better place and then how to say safe space, right? Affordable peace. So this kind, like Thailand is like the center of like so many migration route, you know. And for me, it's like Thai government should understand this kind of thing clearly, like, and should have. First, should understand those kind of people coming out. They have so many reasons to come, and so many reasons like what government should take concern most. I think is the asylum seeker refugee issue. Because they're humanitarians, like they should have some humanitarian approach on them, you know. And seeming like Thai doesn't have clearly understanding about them very well. You may have heard that many people stuck right in Thailand after they cross Thailand, like asylum seekers. They cannot access to the basic rights because they are undocumented. Actually, many Myanmar who came to Thai, they have so many high potential, you know. Many things, many of them get scholarship from third country, so many countries, but they cannot move. They cannot like leave Thailand because they are undocumented, and like government doesn't have clear policy on that to support them, and they still saying that they are undocumented could cross to Thailand illegally, you know, something. But actually, it's humanitarian issues, right? Humanitarian, it doesn't mean that we just only provide the basic living, but also dignity also. Status is the one thing that can achieve the fulfill human being. That's why I think at least this story, government should understand. And once they are in Thailand, you know, they are under the Thai authority, right? So that's why they have to rely on Thai government. But it seems they don't understand Thai government. And then I think we still working on this to let them understand, you know. for this, like to solve this problem. It's so many things on migration. So many things on migration. We ask the whole country.
So let's look at that Myanmar issue more specifically, since obviously this is Insight Myanmar podcast. We have a special interest in seeing where Thai policies and governance, how that relates more specifically to the Myanmar situation and the fallout after the coup. And in whatever way that you've been involved in observing or supporting Burmese as they have been struggling under the military coup since 2021, resisting it, coming in.
Oh, wow. My mom, she's have been working on Myanmar issues since 1988. I still was very young again. I not really know much what she had been doing. But after the coup, like she's came back to active again on Myanmar. And then at the first month after the coup, I think like few months after the coup, we went around the borders, to see what a Myanmar friend at the borders, how they are living, everything. We have faced so many friends in the borders. And also, interesting that they have so many Myanmar who already refused from 1988, came back to the borders to insist to come to work helping the country again. We start have the connections, like make the network again, the group around the borders. Then we plan to do whatever to support Myanmar people. Actually, they have one. First, we try to support like the ethnic group along the borders, like for help them on political agendas. Like if they want to connect with Thai country, if they have some policy recommendations, something we try to connect it with Thailand government. Yeah, a policy body in Thailand, but it's really difficult. But we try a lot, to let their voice, their recommendations, like have been sent to the Thai government. And we also advocate Thai government to understand about Myanmar issue. We try to let them understand, send them report, let them know what happened in borders. Because we let them, we want to advocate them to have the clear policy on Myanmar issues. Thailand cannot go anywhere, right? We have the long borders with Myanmar. So it's at first, even you don't know what to do, you should have information, because information can let you understand the situation. But it really seems difficult because of political problem in Thailand. So when you think like it's difficult to like advocate Thai government, so we planning now. We plan to make the people connections between Myanmar, civil society, and Thailand. Because once Thai people have more understanding, I think we can push in the government also. That's just what we have been working, on the advocacy, And interestingly, I just came back from South Korea. Even they have some civil society in South Korea and also want to support also. So we plan to make the civil society in Myanmar to connect with the friend outside.
That's very interesting.
It is like people to people again.
So it sounds like you're being a bridge to connecting South Korea and beyond to what's happening in Myanmar and the civil society people.
Trying. Yeah, we just had so many meetings in South Korea. In Thailand they already have the group already. Now they connected. And then I think soon they will have so many project together. But our goal, we want Thai society to understand, general Thai people to understand. This is our goal. It's maybe hard work and then keep very long. This is one thing now, advocacy. Another thing, we try to support humanitarians, like, so many things happen. Like once our friend in ethnic group, like they need some support, like medicines, like buying something. We try to like provide it to them. When they want some medicine, we try to connect them with the medicine company, buying medicines. When they need some food, we try to connect the food to them. Something, whatever they want to support humanitarian inside the Myanmar, we try to find and provide it to them. Some we can, some cannot. I can say that. And even sometimes it's so difficult. They also have international community, right? They want to support Myanmar. But as long as I mentioned earlier, like Thailand doesn't have the humanitarian laws. When you export the thing to support Myanmar from outside the country, it's really difficult. Like some, they want to send medicine for humanitarian purpose inside Myanmar. But Thai doesn't have this kind of law, It means if you want to import medicine, medical stuff, you need so many certificates, so many things, you understand, right? Many provisions, many things you have to do to import those kind of things. So I so try a lot to convince some business company to help, I keep it.
So you mentioned that your mother became involved again in Myanmar after a long time away, 1988, which of course is a very important year. So I take that to mean that your mother was very active in the democracy movement. And tell us about that.
Right. Again, I don't know much about what happened there. What I remember, like, she went inside after 1988 with her group. I'm not sure she's and her friend were jailed or not, I'm not sure, but it seems she got blacklisted after that, after 1988. She went inside and then, like, how to call it, like, disseminate the poster or something inside Myanmar, and then she got blacklisted that. I think she went there with some academics. I don't know much about this. I just heard I collect the story from many friends, It's not really clear, like, the long journeys of her, but what I know, she was there. She was there, definitely, with some friends, with the Myanmar friend inside during 1980.
So what was her reaction that you witnessed at 2021 coup?
Actually, not that she said that we have to do something immediately in February. And then she's like asking some friends from, I cannot remember, just so many friends from outside to go together. And then after 1 month, I think we go together with the group, at the borders. Yeah, I think friends from Indonesia, friends from Philippines, like, came together.
And you've been involved since then?
I'm the driver, I was driver at that time. Yeah, that's why I be involved with the whole thing.
So have you, as you've gone into these border areas and you've spoken to ethnic minorities as well as perhaps Bamar that have been fleeing the cities through these border crossings, I'm sure you've witnessed a lot of really harrowing scenes of people living in difficult situations, of people that have faced unbelievable mental trauma of loss and danger. Can you paint a scene for us and tell us, for those many listeners who have not met people coming from this tragedy or in the regions where this is taking place and people are sheltering, can you paint an image to help those listeners understand what it feels like there?
I can say that one we more involved is about the route to support humanitarian from the people who get wounded from the war, from the armed conflict, I can say that when people fighting that day, even they are armed group on board, or even they are innocent citizen, when they get some affected from the war, mostly they get treated in Thai side. What I remember at the beginning, I cannot mention name of organization, but they have so many Myanmar friends come together, try to establish the clinic center along the borders, and along the borders, so many clinics, like, to receive the people who get affected from the war to Thailand. And then they try to do anything to help these kind of people based on humanitarian principle, And then I have seen so many wounded people. Some they lost their leg, some they. I saw one guy like get shot from the eye, and the clinic. When you say clinic, it's not like clinic you think it happen in the town, Clinic is just one building, maybe made by wood, something, very, very, very localized. And then many people like lose their arm also. And like many disabled people get affected from the wars, And this thing cannot be published in the news because it's like we not allow any, it should be safe space, we don't show that, but they have some this kind of like work along the borders, and I have seen this all the time. Like anytime I go to the borders, we sit there and then we met so many people.
Does it ever strike you as something strange that you're on the Thai side of the border and it's just like life is happening like anywhere else? It's school and business and entertainment and family and friends. It's just boring, exciting, whatever shades life take. It's happening like it happens anywhere. And just a few miles away, you have a 3 year plus active combat zone. And does it ever strike you as odd that people on the Thai side don't so much have an understanding or appreciation?
Very close, That's why we think Thai should understand more about this thing happen. And then I remember one day I was standing with one Myanmar friend at the border. We talked the same issue like you see. We have one river over there, but but the story from two sides totally different.
Yeah. And so close, just a couple miles away.
Close, very close, and then people that side, they are dying. Brutally, it's like, and we just think about what I think, they will have the strong impact on Thai society. It's already have, but Thai society doesn't not realize that. But let's think about in the future, like if the conflict continue like this, I have seen one student who doesn't have education for 6 years, and then some is like 5 years, 4 years. They never been in the school at all. And then let's think about if they growing up, what is the future could be. If think about millions of students don't have the education, I don't know how it will affect Thailand. Let's think about the students in there doesn't have vaccine, the proper vaccination. What is could happen with Thailand? It can create the big disease, right?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know everything, but
In the scam centers.
This scam. This thing is like, better principle. Like their students, right? They should get this thing as basic rights. And if they cannot have that, I think it will have strong impact in the futures. Yeah, that's what. The scam also one thing, You see, when the state is not properly functioning on democracy, right? Many people can take benefits on the borders, and then the traffickers, so many things happen. I think many things we should.
So you say that one of the things you're trying to do is to educate Thai society on what's actually happening in Myanmar and how just simply having knowledge of this thing that's happening not half a world away, but just a matter of miles in some cases. So how have you proceeded to try to provide this education, and what has been the response?
To the students inside?
To whatever reality in Myanmar you're trying to make aware to Thai society.
Actually, I think now Myanmar group, they try to do documentary a lot, What happened in Myanmar, the documentary article, where it seems Thai people don't react it well, like they don't read it, they don't pay attention on that, And then I also think this is a problem also. Even Myanmar people want to send a message, but Thai people don't receive it well. Only some of them, but very small number. What I think, the problem is they never have the connections. Because go back to my story, one understand people is once I have the strong experience with them. So that's why I just think about to have some program that the people and people really have connection, really have the same experience. Every time, one I think about to have marathon between Thai people and refugee all together at the borders, But the problem is the laws Thailand we don't recognize refugee as the refugees, right? We recognize them as illegal migrants something. It is based on Thai law. That's why it's really difficult to do this kind of activity. But I think I really want to have some program that really Thai people have really real connection with Myanmar. Once they have one experience together, they will have more interested on Myanmar. Then they will go to documentary, articles, those story later. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do. Yeah.
It's easy to hate a group or to be afraid of a group, but it's much harder to hate or be afraid of a person, an individual, when they're sitting in front of you.
I think so. You see, they hate each other, but they never met each other. Right? But I think once they have met, I think they can think something more. If they have some activity together, they will feel that they are friends.
Right.
Yeah, that is why I think to do this kind of thing. But it's not an easy, just because of the Thai law again. I am afraid if we do some activity, some police will come, authority will come and then arrest all of the Myanmar friends. That's why we stuck it here. But we plan to do something about this. Yeah,
that's really challenging. That's a powerful point you bring up. That because they can't be recognized as refugees that are fleeing a terrible humanitarian crisis, there's these limits put on by Thai law in terms of what you can actually do in trying to support them and tell their stories, because Thai law doesn't recognize them as who they are. So that sounds like a very challenging thing to work around.
And then the many refugees, they have to rely on the system of the migration workers. They want to to be legal person. They want to legalize to be legalized. That's why many apply. You may know that, right? They apply for the pink card, migrant worker card. You see, because they want to disturb Thai country. They want to be legalized. They want to stay safely. That's why they have to rely on this system. But they have some academia work. Actually, the migrant worker system in Thailand, one system is highly corrupted, corrupt system. Because somehow you want to apply for the pink card, the process is very difficult for them. Sometimes you have to pay additionally, to get this kind of service. And it's happened for a long time, Some academics say that actually we really have this corrupt system toward the migrant workers document. It became institutionalized already. So it means once refugee asylum seekers came to Thailand, when they rely on this system, they involved with the corrupt system. And my question is like, who's really get benefit on that? What is going to be end? And then it became like, it's never been end because maybe some people, some authorities, they want to keep this system because some group have benefits, We don't really know who's get really benefit on that.
Sure. So let's talk about Mae Sot, because Mae Sot is a very different kind of place in Thailand that, as we know, many Burmese flee there, and yet those Burmese who might find their way in Mae Sot then have trouble leaving Mae Sot to the rest of Thailand. So legally speaking, tell us where Mae Sot fits into the overall Thai policy.
They have something. I think Mae Sot is one location that people who are really, how do we say? Mae Sot is like the location when people have more problem, they will come to Mae Sot first. It's more easy for them to come. It's not like Chiang Mai. Chiang Mai mostly people who have like better conditions, they come to Chiang Mai. But Mae Sot is like people who are in urgent situations, they came to Mae Sot.
So does that mean that Thai authorities are somewhat more relaxed or allowing Burmese to come more easily into Mae Sot, but then a bit more restricted in leaving Mae Sot to get into the rest of Thailand?
They say no. Basically, if you ask them, they say no. Those kind of people came illegally to Thai, But they already have the system that like all Myanmar who are as refugees living here, they have to have the system like they have to pay to the police like through the like brokers, this kind of thing. It means like the authority in Mae Sot know everything, know how they come, know how they're living, and they know how to approach to them to get this kind of the broker fee something, And then it's really common. Even all refugees or friends or Myanmar friends in Mae Sot already know that this system. So once you are in the Mae Sot, you have to involve with that. You can pay so many options. Sometimes you can pay just for living. You can pay for have how do I say, have some special activity that you can do based on like how much you pay. Even sometimes you can cross to another province. It's based on like how you deal with the officer. It's not based on the laws, based on the principle, but based on how you deal with that.
And now in the border areas, you've also, I imagine, been to refugee camps that are in various border areas. Can you give us a picture of what life is like there?
I can say once I was inside, but I cannot say clearly where's that. For me, it seems it's already been there like 30, 40 years, right? I think people, anything happen there is become socialized, become the communities already. Like people have system, they have small hospitals, school, this kind of thing. But for me, it's so really sad because people in the camp, they're living so long. Some students like never been out. You think about people stay in the camp like 20 years, 15 years, never seen the society outside. And this one will create a problem, when Thai government want to solve the problem, how you can solve the problem when children don't know like society outside the camp, And again, this involved with so many, some people take benefit on people in the camp. Like, actually they do not allow to come out. But once like some people want them to be laborers, they can be out. But they have to pay some percentage of their wage, to the officer again. You see, this thing happen around the Thai country. We have people who are being marginalized by system, but some people like take benefit on them. You see, based on the laws. It's so one thing I'm so afraid of. Like this thing should be discussed and do something more. Like if this kind of thing running like this, it's not really good for human rights or human being. Yeah.
So one thing I've noticed being in Thailand this time is just how much Burmese I hear spoken on the street everywhere, whether it's Bangkok or Chiang Mai or anywhere throughout the country. I hear a lot more Burmese than I remember in the past, and so I imagine this is reflective of the vast increase in the people in the Burmese that are coming, that are fleeing conflict, and this has to be having some kind of impact on Thai society as well as on the way that we could say Thai society is viewing these, encountering many more Burmese, hearing much more Burmese language. I know this is a very broad question and you could break it down and get a bit more nitty gritty, but as someone who's been studying this issue and concerned about migration and refugees for really since childhood, what are you seeing about, just anecdotally, about the increase in Burmese all throughout Thailand and the way that Thai society is absorbing them or working with them, or ways that there's some tension between the groups?
Hey, I can say that Myanmar people already been here for a long time, right? In my point of view, they are part of our society already. They're already part of that. We don't know, like our facility we're using now is come from they work, involved with they waste, they labor something already. But Thai we not realize that. And the way it's like Thai people should understand actually, like they are. Even the child, the how to call that, the person who take care of the children, Thai also hide in many like those kind of worker, right, to help to work in the house for raising their own children. You see, actually we so very close, but we not realize that they are our friends. They are like that. But what we should understand is like they have support Thai society a lot. I can say that without Myanmar friend here, Thai cannot be developed like this. At all. I can say that.
Wow.
Yeah. In all sense.
That's quite a statement.
They involve with so already all sector of Thai society already. But we not realize that, That's why we just want Thai society to understand, just respect them as human beings, at least. If you cannot help them, these things like they are our friend, and they have helped us a lot. And you can see they have so many crime. They have so many low crime rate from Myanmar people. I think it's really small number, right? If we get to the news. And when I talk with them, actually, they really want to make any problem to Thailand at all. In the sense of they feel thankful for Thai society that at least keep them live, safely. And then they feel that they don't want to disturb the country. They don't want to make any problem. They want to be part of the country. At least we just respect them more. And then, you see many pay bribery, right? But they want to pay taxations. They can be they are already part of our society. Just more respect on them. And then I think our country will be more better. Yeah.
First of all, I just want to say that's a really beautiful way to put it. I really want to underscore for listeners just how what a nice and truthful way you expressed that was, and to underscore the role of Burmese in Thai society and the way that they've been part of it and they've shaped it into what it's become today. That's a very powerful way to look at it. That being said, I also want to ask, how are you seeing Thai views of this recent influx of so many more Burmese that are fleeing for safety and for a better life?
Actually, I have, when I see the news, I try to see the comment at the time. But what I feel that I think Thai people more understand on what happened in Myanmar, but they don't know what to do with this situation.
I see.
But at least, when they have more empathy on this issue, I think it's more, it means we are approve something, improve something, in society. It means we're going better something. At least, everything is start from people mind, right? For changing something. If when people have more understanding, more empathy, I think this thing will getting better. Yeah. Well, that's all I can say for now. If from Thai perspective, when I see that the comment, I think I can see the positive comments from the social media. Yeah.
And I've also heard that there is a difference at the younger levels of both Thai and Burmese societies, that some of those old traditional ways, that there's been that rivalry going back not just decades, but really centuries in terms of, well, this kingdom ransacked our kingdom.
Right.
This is how we feel. And some of the younger generations are moving past that, I've heard. Are you finding that as well?
Yes, I think one thing, maybe among young people, they have some things, they have some feeling, the same feeling. Like in Thailand, you see, even you can see the big protests last recent years, right? They also feel the same way, maybe even they have some ideas, they want to participate in the developments, in the policies, but they could not properly involved with that because they have some restrictions from the way to talk with the policy body, and I feel maybe they have some same kind of feelings at the same way, Myanmar people, young people, right? They have the futures, they have the hope, and then that's why they are easily connected each other when they talk about this society problem. Because they may facing some similarities in the situations.
Sure.
That's why they have more understanding each other. Yeah.
And so if there's some similarity in the two countries in terms of the problems that they're facing, we see now that the momentum is all on the people's side, that that the military is steadily losing. Right. If the people are to win, and if they are to establish some kind of a federal democracy that's a better and fairer system for all peoples, what do you think the effects of that kind of victory would be on Thailand and of the young generation?
I think it's not even Thailand, it will be the big political momentum in Southeast Asia. Because not even Thai people observe about situation in Myanmar, but I can say many friends in many countries. Multi-alliance, right? They really multi-alliance. Yes. They're so really actively. And then once we talk together, I think if Myanmar can achieve that, it will be the big momentum for Southeast Asia. And I'm sure if the Myanmar can achieve democracies, first they will support Thai democracies in Thai. Yeah. At least along the people, totally, because they have the same feeling, they have the same thought, same goals, same prosperity. Yeah.
That's also just kind of this beautiful moment of realizing that you and Thai people like you now are coming to Myanmar, people in their darkest hour, in their worst nightmare, trying to help them and provide that support. And if the support that you're providing, if that helps them to continue their fight against this tyranny and to be able to establish a better future for themselves, then that it's going to go the other way. Right. And then everything that you're giving them and you're supporting them, they're going to then build up a momentum where they're going to start to be the ones that can guide your movement and your people in
what I'm doing, actually, I just think that they should deserve it, Myanmar people. They should deserve support as human beings. What I think for now. There is the you mentioned as also, I don't know, can I say that I expect that or not? It's good if it happens, but for now I think it's focus on that.
Sure.
To have, as long as we have the human connection, I think sometimes we can support each other all the time, and hopefully in the future, somehow it will support our country, our friend in another country, and for all people, I think it's really important.
So you mentioned Milk Tea Alliance. Are you involved in Milk Tea Alliance?
Not exactly involved. I just sometimes we work together. Just support them because they're young people and then really active. Really, I think they're really active and really have high, how do I say that? High passions to do connections between youth group, not even in Southeast Asia, but along the Asias, and they really sharp. When I talk with them, they have good strategies, and then that's why I think we have to support them. Yeah.
So some of the activities that you've been doing, the people to people, especially when you shared just recently the people to people connection in South Korea and beyond, coming to the border, the Thai Burmese connections, I couldn't help but think of Milk Tea Alliance in that instance. That seems very milk tea, that kind of practice. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. This keep going, but I just want Thai society to understand, our friends, when they come to Thailand, it is the choice that they cannot, it is the last choice for them for living, for their life, for their family. Actually, they don't want to make anything bad for our country. They just come for emergency situations. They really need support, At least I want us to understand like this kind of story. If you cannot help them, that's fine, but please understand the situation. And the Thai community is very matter for their life, their living. Yeah, please at least don't hate them, don't have any bad attitude toward them. At least just think they are friends, neighboring, and I want them to, after that today, when they heard this story, when you walk around, when you see our Myanmar friend, please you can go to talk with them. They are very nice, I can promise, they're going to just go try to understand more, try to talk, and try to understand from the real people. They have so many stories to talk to you, to let you understand. Yeah. This is the way that, for me, it is the first step to achieve the world peace, Once you understand people, connection. I think that's all. Yeah. Thank you.
We want to take a moment to introduce you to our nonprofit Better Burma's online shop, which features handicrafts sourced from artisan communities scattered throughout Myanmar. Far from being mass-produced knockoffs, the pieces we offer are unique and handmade, reflecting the wide diversity of different peoples found throughout the country. When Myanmar experienced its transition period, moving from democracy in the late 2010s after decades of harsh military dictatorship, many Burmese craftspeople hoped their beautiful work could finally be appreciated beyond the country. When Myanmar experienced its transition period, moving towards democracy in the late 2010s after decades of harsh military dictatorship, many Burmese craftspeople hoped their beautiful work could finally be appreciated beyond the country's borders. But sadly, this was not to be so. Following the military coup, many skilled artisans suddenly found all possibility of continuing their livelihood closed off and began struggling just to feed their families. With this in mind, we prioritize working with artisans from disadvantaged and vulnerable backgrounds because we know just how hard it can be to survive at the margins of society in Myanmar. This includes such people as those with disabilities, mothers who have contracted HIV/AIDS, civil servants on CDM, ethnic and religious minorities, and more. To view these wonderful pieces, please visit alokacrafts.com. That's Aloka, A-L-O-K-A, crafts, C-R-A-F-T-S. One word, alokacrafts.com. Otherwise, please consider a donation through our usual channels. If you would like to join in our mission to support those in Myanmar who are being impacted by the military coup, we welcome your contribution in any form, currency, or transfer method. Your donation will go on to support a wide range of humanitarian and media missions, aiding those local communities who need it most. Donations are directed to such causes as the Civil Disobedience Movement, CDM, families of deceased victims, internally displaced person IDP camps, food for impoverished communities, military defection campaigns, undercover journalists, refugee camps, monasteries and nunneries, education initiatives, the purchasing of protective equipment and medical supplies, COVID relief, and more. We also make sure that our donation fund supports a diverse range of religious and ethnic groups across the country. We invite you to visit our website to learn more about past projects, as well as upcoming needs. You can give a general donation or earmark your contribution to a specific activity or project you would like to support, perhaps even something you heard about in this very episode. All of this humanitarian work is carried out by our nonprofit mission, Better Burma. Any donation you give on our Insight Myanmar website is directed towards this fund. Alternatively, you can also visit the Better Burma website, betterburma.org, and donate directly there. In either case, your donation goes to the same cause, and both websites accept credit card. You can also give via PayPal by going to paypal.me/BetterBurma. Additionally, we can take donations through Patreon, Venmo, GoFundMe, and Cash App. Simply search Better Burma on each platform and you'll find our account. You can also visit either website for specific links to these respective accounts or email us at info@betterburma.org. That's Better Burma, one word, spelled BETTERBURMA.org. If you would like to give it another way, please contact us. We also invite you to check out our range of handicrafts that are sourced from vulnerable artisan communities across Myanmar, available at alokacrafts.com. Any purchase will not only support these artisan communities, but also our nonprofit's wider mission. That's Aloka Crafts, spelled ALOKACRAFTS, one word, alokacrafts.com. Thank you so much for your kind consideration and support.